Hello, Dr. Sanders. So this is my Sprint 3 and 4 individual progress update. It's March 21st. I am Timothy Allec, and I'm part of Cityscope AI. So to start off with, I'm going to go over the breakdown of labor for these sprints. So this is a list of some of the tasks I worked on, the big ones. So the TSNE update. So this is me reconfiguring the TSNE because what I'm trying to do right now is implement the heat maps, specifically the zip code map with my TSNE data. So I want to make sure that the data that's being displayed on the map is a geographical representation of the clustering in a space in a 3D in a 2D space with the TSNE clustering, and I want to make sure the clustering data points are the same for both the geographical and the TSNE. So I've been doing some refactoring and comparing to make sure that they are aligned. So if I click on a zip code within the map, it'll give me just a geographical representation of what I should be seeing on the TSNE plots. And then pull TSNE data into the map. So when I click into a zip code, I'm pulling the TSNE data and highlighting the five or however many similar zip codes to that zip code on the map. So I'm integrating them both. That goes into the new feature for the zip code map. So I had to pull the data, and then I also had to use that data to highlight using the ArcGIS libraries the five similar zip codes. And then I updated the UI for the zip code map with the coloring, just cleaning up the color scheme a little bit and making sure that the proper zip codes highlight and not the wrong zip codes. And then I added the zip code portfolio for the zip code map. So what this does is I merge data sets together. So we have the city image URLs for each zip code, and each zip code was also joined with the city and the state because the census data is just the zip code. So I had to merge it with the enrollment data, which has the zip code and the city and the state. And now it's time to go into the tutorial demo. So this is me giving you a quick live demo of what I've been up to. If I could go over here. So let me just refresh. So as you can see, this is the CityScope AI. And then if we go over here to zip codes, well, actually, let me rerun npm. I think that might have been an old version of the app. Let me just, I apologize. It was literally just working a second ago. Let me see if it works. I apologize. I recently merged my branch into main, and then I forgot to pull from main, so that's why it was an old version and it wasn't working. But I'm just gonna hop straight into it. As you can see, the time was just a minute. It's not me fooling you or anything like that. It's just that I forgot to pull from main. And if you go to my, as you can see, the sidebar only shows up for the zip codes because Voronoi and Heatmap, they aren't necessarily zip code based; they're more area based. But I'm hoping to implement it for those two map types as well. But if we go ahead and go into my, well, where did it go? If we go ahead and go into the zip code map, as you can see, all the zip codes load. And as I've demonstrated in class, I discussed how I wanted to display similar zip codes. So here are the similar zip codes being highlighted, which is being pulled from my TSNE data. And then I also got the portfolio up again. There's no LLM integration quite yet, which I would want to add so it gives the user like reasoning why these are similar zip codes to 92503. And if we go ahead and take a look at the console, you get more of an idea of what I'm doing here. So we get the similarity data, which is the TSNE data. The selected zip code is 92503. Fetched zip data fetches the five similar zip codes, returns the similar zip codes along with their similarity scores, and then we match that zip code with the zip code in the CSV, which is the portfolio data, and then it highlights the similar zip codes in an array and it sends it to the map for the ArcGIS, and then it highlights the zip codes, and then it also updates here, and then my code also dynamically updates. So if I click on a new zip code, it'll update the similar zip codes, and then it'll also update on here. Let me see if I could do another city like Anaheim. Sometimes if there's no students from that area, it won't work. Maybe we'll try Murrieta. So as you can see, it updated from Murrieta, and it updated like that. No picture from Murrieta right now, but it updated. And as you can see, a similar zip code was actually in the Vegas area, which is kind of surprising. Now, if we go ahead and go back to the PowerPoint, the next in my demo is the new code highlight. So this is where I'm going to go to GitHub and show you all of my recent commits. So this is me merging the pull request 10 minutes ago, going through all my changes, made some CSS changes. This is me adding the portfolio. I added Papa, which is a PDF parsing library, which is useful for getting the CSV data and returning what I want. We have load demographic function, which loads the demographics based on the selected zip code. And then just some HTML, CSS, on zip selected from map, some other CSS. And then if we go to my other commits, add TSN, use a zip code map. I'm trying to look for the commit where I added the zip code highlighting. So yeah, this is me fixing the highlighting, because apparently when I was testing it initially, it would only highlight one of the five similar zip codes, but not all of them. So we just query all the available zip codes on the map, and then we check the ones that aren't on the map, and then it forces us to highlight all of the correct zip codes with a certain opacity and a color. And here there's a lot of commits from like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Just some updating the git ignore, updating my 2D and 3D plots. And then I have more rendering code, which is on the client side. This interactions between the components of the different pages, rendering and making sure that the map doesn't re-render when I click on a zip code. So it's more fluid for the user, and just different responses with the hit test. Hit test is when we select a zip code, and then we do all these checks to make sure it matches with the zip code, which is ZTTA5 CE10, and that's the selected zip code because that's the header in our CSV. Those are the major key aspects to my GitHub check-in. I have some merging, sidebar, just some how I implemented the sidebar into my code. So Gabe implemented the original sidebar. I had to implement it to where when a zip code is selected, it'll display the data on the sidebar. And this is the end of my individual sprint video. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a good day, morning, or night whenever you watch this. Thank you.